What is media? Media, by definition, is a means of mass communication, whether it is done via broadcasting, publishing, or the internet. Media describes the various ways we can communicate with audiences around the globe. Moreover, media can be broken down and simplified in two terms: broadcast and print. Broadcast media will be media that refers to radio and TV, which came introduced first during the 20th century, while print media, however, is the more traditional style of mass communication, which is done via print, in example of, newspapers, magazines, pamphlets, books, and reports. This type of media is the oldest type, and although this means of delivering media is currently suffering with the arrival of the internet, print media is still widely used around the globe. Lastly, the newest type of media, the internet, first emerged during the 1990s and wasn't fully used globally until the 21st century. As the internet is virtually a mass medium of mass communication, it has become the leading means of delivering multiple types of media and communication globally, which, along its multiple services globally, including social media, allowed for faster and easier access and distribution of information. While we are familiar with these terms, remember that media is a means of mass communication, which includes portraitures or paintings that can date from our ancestors thousands of years ago.
We live in the age of consumption, we live in the age of media. Media and consumption are closely related due to the reason that media is made to be consumed and further encourages the audience to consume. In their study, Media and Consumer Culture, an Introduction, Mahita Ikani says, two key characteristics of the contemporary age of late capitalism are that it is saturated with media texts and technologies, and that it is fundamentally organized around consumer economy. Media is the sum of information and entertainment by an individual or group. For as long as there have been words and pictures, the people of the world have been consuming media, and as we further develop in terms of media and have more access to it, people's consumption patterns further increase. Media has positive effects when it comes to consumption. For example, the use of multimedia has proven to serve as an indispensable asset in the educational field, serving both instructors and students alike. Additionally, the internet itself is an overwhelmingly useful resource for people of all ages, effectively serving as a personal library for any of those who access it. Furthermore, social media has proven invaluable benefits for people over the course of its lifetime and has served as an incredibly effective method of interacting and communicating with others in nearly every part of the world. However, the effect of media on consumption and the consumers is not entirely positive. Numerous studies have also shown that media consumption has a significant association with poor sleep quality. Television and computer game exposure affect children's sleep and deteriorate verbal cognitive performance. Another problem that has developed due to increased media consumption is that people are becoming less independent. With text messaging and social media, people want instant gratification from their friends and often feel hurt if they do not receive an immediate response. Minorities are often put in a negative light in the media as well, with blacks being portrayed as criminals, Hispanics portrayed as illegal aliens, and people from the Middle East portrayed as terrorists. Research has shown that consuming much media with headlines that depict minorities in negative ways can affect how people think. Ultimately, the media and consumer culture go hand in hand. We as consumers have to take it upon ourselves to be responsible with the media we consume and how it affects us in the long run.
What does media do to us? In our world today, the media, with the help of technology, have been incredibly influential to us in ways that have instigated progress in our society through different fields, such as politics, culture, science, business, and many others because of the information it holds from different sources. It has the power to hold the world into its hands. For instance, it has the power to influence, manipulate, add pressure, and has convincing power to the masses in which it affects people in certain ways, such as their mentality, emotions, and physicality. According to scholars and experts, the way the media affects us goes in 8 ways: timing, duration, valence, change, intention, level of effect, direct or indirect, and manifestation. First, it is said that timing is how immediate the effect of a media exposure is to the person. This means that the media we consume, from our televisions or from our computers, either have immediate influence or takes time for us to accept or process the information given. Narration talks about the impact of a certain media content. This is defined through how permanent or temporary the information that kind of media presents to us. An example of this would be watching movies in which there may be scenes that have a strong emotional impact to us that have changed the way we see things, or it may be short lived, in which we immediately forget about the scene after the movie ends. Meanwhile, valence is how positive or negative the media content is to us. To identify how positive the influence of a certain media content is, these are often the form of educating and enlightening us of different things. Positive media content also sparks engagement and interaction between people, which forms meaningful bonds. However, these media content could also encourage negative behavior, such as being aggressive and toxic to others, either virtually or in real life. The fourth effect that experts have pointed out is change. This, identified through how media content makes a difference to the person, is determined through what changes it could make in the behavior or approach of a person to their surroundings. Another effect that also affects us is the intention of the media content. Some media content intends that this certain message will affect people. However, there are also times where it could unintentionally affect people in some other ways with the kind of content they put out. The level of effect is the size of impact the media content is in which it either affects at the micro level or macro level. The micro level refers to its impact on the individual, which is often measured by how the individual responds or reacts to the media content they consume. Meanwhile, the macro level refers to a group of people such as institutions. An example of how the effect of media content affects the macro level is in politics, where it can be measured by public opinion polls, voting rates, and etc. Direct or indirect means exactly what it meant: how direct or indirect the impact of a media is to the person. Some content may be a hit to people, or to some, the content might miss the interest of the people. The last effect is the manifestation. Manifestation is the reaction of the person after they saw media content. These can either be observable or latent. An example of observable behavior is when a person sees a food advertisement. After seeing the food advertisement, some might be enticed to buy the food item. As for latent, it means that the media content does not in any way affect them to react or behave a certain way. Media have indeed impacted us in many ways than what we expect. Thus, it is incredibly important for us to be aware or be critical in the media content we consume, for it has the power to influence our mindset and our behavior.